Okay, I'm trying something new today, so be patient with me. All right, hello and welcome to the sixth episode of Take Courage 143, Pacing for Hope, celebrating milestones. And I didn't do the intro, so let's go ahead and we'll just skip the intro today. This is take 2 of this episode. I recorded the last episode, or this episode rather, at 12 noon. So we're live now at 12:55 instead of 12. But let's just get on with it because that's what we do. We just get on with it. So this week, my husband and I celebrated our 24th wedding anniversary. And I just wanted to share with you our anniversary a long, long time ago, back in 2006. So that was a interesting anniversary, and I want to share with you because in spite of our circumstances and where we were, it was a day that ended up with lots of surprises. So as I talk to you about this day, and I'm going to read a little bit from my book, Love Beyond Scope, you'll get to kind of have a vision into that day, and hopefully it will provide you with some inspiration or some ideas of how you can celebrate milestones on your journey while living through childhood cancer. So 18 years ago, on our 6th anniversary, it was 6 days, our 6th anniversary happened 6 days after Lauren was diagnosed. So Lauren was diagnosed on June 4th, 2006, which our last episode covered that. But 6 days after June 4th is June 10th. And June 10th was our 6th year anniversary. We were married in 2000. So I'd like to take you back to that day today. So on June 10th, 2006, the world continued on outside the hospital. And one event that was happening was the 138th running of the Belmont Stakes. The winners of the Kentucky Derby and the Preakness Stakes did not compete. This meant that no horse was running for the Triple Crown in 2006. In case you're not familiar with the world of horse racing, the Triple Crown is a series of horse races for 3-year-old thoroughbreds, consisting of course, the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness Stakes, and Belmont Stakes. These events happen each spring, starting with the first leg of the Triple Crown is the Kentucky Derby held at Churchill Downs. It's often called the Run for the Roses. It's a 1 1/4 mile race, 10 furlongs in the horse racing track world. They measure in furlongs. Colts and geldings, which means male horses, in case you didn't know, carry their jockey weight has to be at 126 pounds, and fillies can carry up to 121 pounds. And it's held the first, here's some fun facts, right? So it's held the first Saturday in May, the Kentucky Derby. And then the next leg of the Triple Crown. If a horse was to win all 3 of these races, they would get the Triple Crown, right? So the second leg of the race is Preakness Stakes, and it's held on the 3rd Saturday in May at Pimlico Race Course in Baltimore, Maryland. And in that race, horses run 1 3/16 mile, and it's 9.5 furlongs. So the Preakness Stakes was named by some more fun facts. Preakness Stakes was named by a former Maryland governor after the colt Preakness, who won the first dinner party stakes at Pimlico. And then the last race, which is 3 weeks after Preakness Stakes, is the Belmont Stakes, and it is run in Belmont Park, New York. The race is 1.5 miles, 12 furlongs, and the race is nicknamed the Test of Champions. Usually held the first or second Saturday in June. Secretariat holds the track record of 2 minutes and 24 seconds. So this takes me to this day, our day, and I just hit something again. I hope I'm still alive. Yes, I'm still alive. All right. I think I did that last time and I hit mute. So hopefully you all can still hear me. Looks like I'm live. Looks like my sound is going through the mic. Hopefully everything is good. So this takes me to, we're like real, we're live. Like there's no editing. Like true courage. Getting in front of the camera, and today I have a little bit of the beginning script with some of these fun facts, but then I wanted to take you to that day in the hospital room 6 days after Lauren had been diagnosed. We were moved from one side of the hallway to the other. Lauren was not in remission yet. She was considered not a rapid responder. And I know there's several other categories that go like down the list, but she definitely wasn't the first category where you're a rapid responder and you're in. She did not go into remission during the first week of treatment. So we were moved to another room, and we were going to stay another couple of weeks based on some of the feedback that we were getting from her blood work. And so it's around 5:00 on this Saturday, and I want to take you into my book, Love Beyond Scope, so you get a little snippet of it, and hopefully one day, if you would like, you can purchase it on Amazon.com, Love Beyond Scope. I'm going to read from the chapter that's titled 6-Year Anniversary. Love is Patient, Love is Kind. It's chapter 15. And, at the beginning of this chapter, I expressed that it was moving day for us. We moved to another room, but I wished it was leaving day. We were moved across the floor into a completely different hallway. And so we were beginning to get comfortable with our environment. And there was a TV mounted up in the corner of the room. And on the TV, different things are available, like hospital services. You can watch regular TV, you can watch movies. So I'm going to begin and just allow the pages to tell you about that day, and then we'll do some conversation follow-up from it. But it was around 5:00 on Saturday, and Jeff and I decided to turn on the television perched up in the far corner of the room. Navigating beyond the hospital menu of the myriad of services and advertisements, we eventually land on a channel covering the Belmont Stakes. No horse is competing for the Triple Crown this year. Jeff directed his attention toward the live coverage. They post the odds. It looks like a horse was injured during the Preakness Stakes. We hadn't followed the race after the Kentucky Derby. What's the horse's name? I asked. Barbaro, he replied. I turned my attention to the television. Lauren had fallen asleep for a nap on the big hospital bed in her new room. He won the Kentucky Derby, but it looks like something happened to him at Preakness Stakes. Jeff listens intently. I began to get interested in the story. It was minutes before the race would begin. Horses and their jockeys were beginning to enter the field. From the 138th Belmont Stakes in Belmont, New York, the broadcaster switched over to an additional segment updating fans on Barbaro's condition. Just 3 weeks into his recovery from a leg that was badly broken into more than 28 pieces, Barbaro's veterinarian reported from a horse hospital in Pennsylvania. He is hopeful but realistic. Barbaro's surgeries included 2 plates, 27 screws, and a state-of-the-art recovery pool to give him the best chances for recovery. They display an X-ray film on the TV that depicted the extent of the repair. The 27 screws illuminate bright white on the film. At this point, his doctor is giving him a poor prognosis, but believes it could go either way. The media turns back to the race. The jockey who rode Barbaro, Edgar Prado, signs an enormous Get Well banner card for Barbaro as he heads into the field to ride another horse. I hope I pronounced this jockey's name correctly. Edgar Prado. Barbaro had been the favored Kentucky hopeful contender for the Triple Crown. His run at the Kentucky Derby was remarkable. He left the entire field behind by 6.5 lengths in his beautiful finish. This margin of victory was the largest since 1946. His performance had fans believing the 28-year Triple Crown drought would come to an end. Many believed Barbaro was going to be the next greatest racehorse since affirmed in 1978. Unfortunately, tragedy struck when Barbaro fractured 3 bones around his fetlock of his right hind leg at the starting gate of the Preakness Stakes. In a split second, his speed, strength, and stamina were now challenged by physical brokenness. It amazes me, what can happen in a split second of life. Some of those moments can leave one or many changed forever, for better or for worse. So this is our anniversary day on June 10th, 2006. And, we're watching this race. And I have to say, I don't remember thinking it was our anniversary, but I'm sure that I might have had an idea, but wasn't acknowledging it. There was a lot of overwhelm. There was a lot of things going on. We were finally getting settled. We had developed a schedule of who was going to watch our older daughter, Sydney. Family had arrived in town. My parents had both been to the hospital, as well as my in-laws. Jeff had taken a week off of work, so we were able to be together. And I can't imagine that I didn't know it was our anniversary, but it was a very busy and emotional and overwhelming time, I think is the best way to say it. And we were starting to, I think, find our way around the hospital, kind of get some bearings on where everything was, and learned where the cafeteria was. We learned where the kitchen on the floor was, where we could get snacks for Lauren, like whether it be a frozen popsicle or some juice from the fridge. We were beginning to understand that there was a snack cart that came out each night in the hallway, and the kids could take snacks from it. We learned where the playroom was, although she was 16 months old, so we would go to the playroom and get toys from the room and bring them back to our room. Lauren didn't necessarily go to the playroom to play. And there was a little Tykes red car with like the yellow top, like that you wheel around with your feet. And that was available, to trade on and off with other patients on the floor to go scoot around the hallway. But she didn't have a whole ton of energy to partake in things that were super physical. But so this was our anniversary, and Jeff, I'm never going to record this as well as the first time. We'll try. So Jeff, after the race, we begin to watch this race, right? Like they're doing this pre-TV segment on, some of the horses and some of the jockeys. And as we were watching, there was a knock at the door, and there was a lady from, it was called Moose on the Loose, which was their service for the children's meals, knocked at the door, and right behind her was my sister-in-law, Robin, and she had brought with her a bouquet of balloons. And so she came in, and Lauren was still sleeping, and she said, don't wake her up. She'll see them when she wakes up. But I was like, oh, we have to show her the balloons. So we ended up, I told Lauren, I said, your Aunt Robin is here. And she woke up, and she had the biggest smile on her face when she saw the bouquet of balloons. And we embraced, and it was like we were just at another family gathering. And it was so nice to have her come, and she explained all the things that they were doing to help us get organized at the house. And she's very excited about some of the surprises that she had for us at home. And I look up, and the race was about to begin, and it's going to start, you guys. And I interrupted the joy that was happening between Jeff and the balloons and Lauren. And we were very happy to see her. And so the race continues, and the 3-year-old thoroughbreds are going to run this 1.5 miles. And like I said, Secretariat holds the 1.5 mile stakes record of 2 minutes and 24 seconds. And I barely blink and look up, and between the excitement of these balloons and the race, the horses, and Robin visiting, the horses are halfway around the course. They all looked very close running together to me. The pace is relatively strong. Jazzle begins to inch his way to the front of the pack with 5 furlongs to go. Bluegrass Cat and Jazzle begin to set themselves apart from the pack. And in a blink of an eye, it's over. Jazzle wins it by a length. So this is where it gets really fun, because it's our anniversary. You can imagine my sister-in-law coming to visit, the balloons, the energy, just joy was beginning to arrive in our room that day. And Jeff, my husband, I'm sure he came and went throughout the day from our room, but he, as the race was ending, and it was such a snapshot in time, but sometimes things that happen forever remind you that there was goodness even when we were so sad, and we were grieving, and we were wondering, and we just didn't know where things were going, and we didn't know if Lauren was going to go into remission. We didn't know how long we were going to stay at the hospital, and we didn't know if she would survive. And we were waiting for more information about her tumor genetics and all the different indicators. We were like hanging on to everything, all kinds of information that would give us hope. And we were grasping to understand like what cancer is and what leukemia is. And here was our 6-year anniversary. And Jeff, my husband, he's so good about having an optimistic outlook, in recognizing that there's reasons to celebrate. And he knew, he had the foresight to understand that our wedding day 6 years before should be celebrated amidst this drastic change in our life. And in his sadness and in his grief, he was able to bring a rose that lit up into the room. And I had no idea. The last week had been a blur, as I read in the book. And I was not even thinking about anything other than taking care of Lauren. And he hands me this rose and he lights it up and he says, "Happy 6th anniversary." And Robin says, "Yeah, that's right. It's your anniversary." And in spite of this rose being very cheesy at the time and maybe seemed so silly, it brought so much love into the room. And the backstory on why it's a light up rose and it's artificial is because patients on the chemo floor, on the oncology floors, are not allowed to have real flowers. And so he had gone down to the gift shop, I guess earlier in the day, and had been hiding this rose in the room because I didn't see it until after the race finished. He had it behind his back and he pulled it from behind his back and he told me, "Happy 6th anniversary." I told him, "This will be one to remember." Of course it was one to remember. And even more so because he brought the rose that lit up. And in the book here, I described that I looked down, getting a glimpse of Lauren's uneaten tray of meatloaf, mashed potatoes, applesauce, and milk. And I said, "Do you want to have dinner together?" I said, half joking. And I was hungry, I'm sure. I was starving, like any mom or parent or caregiver. Like, I don't know, you just become hungry a lot, or maybe not so hungry. But we were kind of half joking around that maybe we would share her meatloaf and mashed potatoes because we knew that she wasn't going to eat the meatloaf and the mashed potatoes. And Robin spoke up. Aunt Robin, my sister-in-law, who is my sister by choice, by my brother's choice. She's my sister-in-law, but she's a wonderful, wonderful person. And she offered that day to allow us to go to the cafeteria. And I have to tell you, I wasn't all for this notion. I didn't want to leave Lauren. I wanted to just be by her side every waking moment. I wanted to lay by her side. I wanted to know who was coming and going in the room, what they were doing. It was such a, it was brand new. Everything was all new to us. And I wanted to have complete knowledge. And I'm sure I yearned for control too. In my overwhelm and in my grief and in my just need to think that it was me that she needed, right? But Jeff ended up looking at me and saying, "Come on, let's go. It's okay. Like, we won't be gone long. Let's just go sit with each other." I was like, okay. And Robin was there, so she was able to watch Lauren, and we went down to the cafeteria, and we had a chance to just be together. And I don't remember, what we talked about or what we ate or, what we did. Oh no, we walked down there. But I knew there was love and that he valued us being together on our anniversary in that cafeteria, sharing a meal. And now I look back and I think, how can I not help to think that it's those moments that helped us get to today, 24 years later. It was just a simple rose that lit up that allowed us to take some time to move away from the immediate needs of Lauren and trust someone else, her aunt, which makes it a little bit easier, a lot easier, and embrace our love in such a overwhelming time and sad time. And I will always be thankful that he was able to bring the light up rose into our life that day. And I just think, it made that day memorable. Here I am talking about it 18 years later, and how it brought so much laughter, and it was able to bring us together into that cafeteria. The light up rose, kind of cut through some of and opened up my heart to embrace the moment. And I think it's so important when you're going through this, or when you're living through childhood cancer, and you have a child and it's been diagnosed. I think it's so important to take time to spend it with your loved ones, and to celebrate milestones, whether it's an anniversary or birthday, or eventually it might even become like celebrating getting to a milestone in your child's treatment protocol, which we did that too. And I'll talk about that on another episode. But opening up and creating that space for love to light up a room is something that we all need. And I encourage you to find something that lights up the room, whether it's a light up rose or something else, a card. I don't know. Like, everyone has their own unique circumstance and has their own unique journey and understands the people around them, and what can bring joy into a dark room or a tough season. So as we close this episode of Pacing for Hope, celebrating milestones, we are left with a profound sense of resilience and hope. I hope you are left with a profound sense of resilience and hope. Just as the Triple Crown races mark the beginning of a new chapter for the magnificent horses, so too does the journey of childhood cancer open the door to a life beyond the diagnosis. So by drawing these powerful parallels, we are reminded that even in the darkest of times, there is always the opportunity to create lasting memories, to find joy in the present, and to embrace the fullness of life. The horses on the track and the families facing cancer may stumble, but they rise again, stronger and more determined than ever. I ask you to let this episode be a testament to the unbreakable human spirit, a celebration of the memories we forge, and a guiding light for all those who seek to pace their ways towards hope, one steady stride at a time. And as we move forward, may we all find the courage to live each day to the fullest, honoring the past while eagerly anticipating the boundless possibilities that lie ahead. Oh, I hope you all can find light up roses. I think it's so fun. Or something that lights up your room. And so as we close today, I'd like to say a small prayer with you. Dear Lord, as we draw to a close, we're deeply grateful for the lessons learned from the powerful stories of resilience and hope. In the trials faced by families battling childhood cancer, may they find a light, whether it be a red rose that lights up or a moment of memories shared that help families endure. And they help these families become the best versions of themselves. finding hope, finding joy, finding peace, finding love that we all have to give. And may we always cherish the memories we create, finding joy and strength in every stride we take. Bless us with this wisdom to honor our past, the courage to live fully in the present, and the faith to embrace a future brimming with endless possibilities. In your loving name, I pray. Amen. Until next time, take courage 143. And I'm having technological issues today.